Hey, welcome to the Westborough Golf Club Building Use Committee agenda called here on Wednesday, June 7th at 6:30 p.m. Because it's a hybrid meeting, I'm going to read some language that we're required to read. So pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted in person and via remote means in accordance with applicable law. This means that members of the public body, as well as members of the public, may access this meeting in person or via virtual means. In-person attendance will be at the location noted above, which is Memorial Hall at Town Hall. And it is possible that any or all members of the public body may attend remotely, with in-person attendance consisting of members of the public. This meeting may be accessed remotely via the Zoom meeting link and ID and passcode as listed on the agenda. When required by law or allowed by the chair, persons wishing to provide public comment or otherwise participate in the meeting may do so by in-person attendance or by accessing the meeting remotely as noted above. Additionally, the meeting will broadcast live in real time via Verizon Channel 28 and Charter Channel 192 or via Westborough TV's online platforms at westboroughTV.org and youtube.com/WestboroughTV. And probably self-evident, but this meeting will be live streamed and recorded by Westborough TV. And welcome. Please, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Perfect. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for putting my picture on such a big screen.
Okay, so the first thing on our agenda is to approve the meeting minutes from May 31st. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve meetings from May 31st?
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, any comments, questions, corrections?
No?
Okay, because we're doing remotely, we have to do a roll call vote. So I'll just go around the room, just last name and yes or no.
Brian White, yes.
O'Day, yes.
Shani, yes.
Johnson, yes.
Williams, yes.
Griffith, yes.
Kirkland, yes.
Weitzman, yes.
Thank you, Felicia. Perfect. Again, Jen, thank you for those.
Yep.
Keeping us up to date. Okay, next thing on the agenda is to discuss, review, and finalize our survey questions. And I know those were sent out, as well as we have some hard copies here, but has anything changed from what was?
No, the only
Sent
thing
up.
I had changed, and we could easily go back, I had talked to Owen if we wanted to, it was when I was starting to put this together, on a scale of 1 to 10, I just kind of start to think, like, when we get the results, like, if we have people that have 7s, 6s, so I just changed it to very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, neutral, not very, so it just might be easier, but if anyone feels differently, we can go back.
No, I actually think that'll be a lot cleaner
Yeah.
to see results.
You can see it graphically too, very easily. so,
Right,
yep.
right. So
Yeah.
that's all. And then I did, and then the only other thing when I was putting it together, I was trying to re-listen. I think question 4, was that how people wanted that phrased about the food service? I was, I just wasn't sure if I was interpreting what the conversation was correctly.
Yeah, I actually think that's pretty spot on, actually.
Okay.
So can we just go through the list? 'Cause I read through it ahead of time, so can I
Yeah,
just
sure.
go through it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so great, I thought the context that you set, that would be the front screen for the survey participants was good. I would just, it would be town select board, not town, so just editorial S.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought the rest of it, if you guys have already read through it, I think it's well done. And then you've got the link to the building assessment report and then also to the pictures, right, that will be out there. Then when we get down to the questions, one question I had for the team is, when we say, the first 2 questions are you a member of the Westborough Golf Club and are you a Westborough resident? So do we agree we were going to put those up front or at the end? I just couldn't remember.
I couldn't either.
I thought we said at the
Okay.
end.
I thought we were going to bump
I wanted to, just since I missed last week's meeting, are these the questions that you guys kind of thought would be the best ones to have on the survey last week? Is that what was?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be the final set.
Yeah.
I think my only question is, are you a Westborough resident? Aren't we pretty much only sending this out to Westborough residents?
No, not necessarily, because it also is going to go through the email listing that Matt has for the golf community, which he has 3,000 people on there. So we wanted to just differentiate, are you golf and are you town? Does that make
Okay,
sense?
Got it. It does. Thank you.
Yeah, and it is also going to be available online, too, so if someone came in, so I would imagine it'd be mostly Westborough residents, but people could access it from the town's website and link and click on and complete the survey, too.
Okay.
So back to Terry's question.
Yeah, so I remembered it, I thought it was going to be at the end as well. So we can, okay, so we'll bump those to the end. And then the same thing would happen for the ones that are geared towards, that were originally geared towards the golfers. So question number 2, which is really number 3, but that will just get reordered. So the first 2 questions are fine. Number 3, I believe, is exactly what we said. How satisfied are you with the current pro shop, meeting room, and restroom facilities at Westborough Golf Club? And again, we'd put that later. And then the next question would be thinking only about the facilities, what could be improved? And then
And that will
how,
go with this question 3 and move.
Right, 3B,
Yeah.
right.
yeah, exactly. So we'd have a 3A and a 3B. And then number 4 then, 3, which is 4, would be how important is it to you to have on-premises dining?
That goes to the end as well?
Nope.
No, that'll be-
Oh, that's becomes number 3, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, so this is all part of the, kind of the golfers questionnaire. And then,
So let's clarify that. So you're saying 1 through,
1 through 5 are what was originally for the golfers. And then starting with number 6 is really where we would start with the golfers.
so this is number 6 on this form?
Yeah, let's just,
Okay.
yeah, why don't we just go through the questions and we can kind of go through the reorder? So how important is it to you to have on-premises dining?
So this is for a golfer, though?
Yeah, and then the next question is what we had talked about, which was, if given the option, what type of food or beverage service is more favorable? Back to the quick service, full service, or a combination of both?
Do you think if that's, I was reading it differently and
Go ahead.
forgot, but if we want it just for golfers, should we put it, how important is it to you as a golfer to have on-premises dining?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it calls that out?
yeah.
I just throw it out there, I'm not, for
As
more
a golf
as a
member?
question.
As a golf member?
As a
Or
golfer, as a golfer.
Yeah,
It's not
'cause you don't
just the
have to be a
members.
member to
Yeah.
play, so.
Yeah,
Sure.
for anyone who's in there to eat. Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're going to move,
Well, just keep going, then we'll move, then we can
Okay.
move them, just to make sure we get everything covered. But I think Jen did a really good job of capturing all of our edits. And then to be, if given the option, again, which type of food beverage service is more favorable? And again, this is what we had talked at length about around the options.
Yep.
And
So,
then,
sorry, regarding that question, when you're talking about quick service with no table service, would it be more just like a pickup window where you pick up these
Exactly.
kind of food?
Like
Yeah,
a snack
exactly.
bar, pickup window.
Yeah,
yeah.
snack
Like
bar
grilled
type thing.
food or,
yeah, so for the golfers who want to just come in either before or after the round or during, going from 7 to 8, grabbing a quick bite.
you
It'd
could
be
put
pre,
snack bar there.
yeah, it's a snack.
I think snack bar, yeah,
Snack bar, yeah.
right, because it's, that
So do you
kind
want
of,
to do quick service / snack bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say snack bar, because again, I wasn't there last week. I saw the minutes, but quick service, I think a snack bar, to my ear, I can visualize it better versus a quick service. It's kind of like not sure what that meant, so I think quick service / snack bar.
Okay.
makes
Yeah, I
a
think
lot
we
of-
used that because of what Dave was talking about
Right.
during his presentation, and we just kind of rolled that in. But no, I agree, snack bar is better to the ear.
And then we'll just
Yeah.
leave the parentheses in there so they get an idea of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we're
no
talking
question.
about.
Yep.
No question at all.
And then the last question to the golfer would be number 5, which is really 6, which is how important is it to you have function space to hold golf outings, events, award ceremonies, post-play socialization, et cetera, using the same rating that Jen had come up with, which I agree, it makes total sense. So then we start with the questions that originally were intended to be at the beginning of the survey, which it would be to everybody. So it would start with question 6, which would be question 1. In the past 2 years, what I would call it non-golf amenities have you or your household used, as opposed to off-season? Correct? And that was my notes, so I'm just going to test that back with you guys. So that'd be restaurant dining, restaurant private function, non-golf course use, with some examples or other fill in the blank.
Yep.
You agree? So that would be, so what non-golf amenities, Jen?
Yep.
Okay. Then the next one would be, if available, what activities, amenities would you likely utilize? And again, this is what we talked about: full-service restaurant, function space, indoor active space, community meeting space. Jen, Felicia, is this clear to you? Because again, you weren't here, but it might be good to just have a fresh ear to it.
To me, that question makes sense
Okay.
and seems self-explanatory.
And then if you feel that a restaurant is the best use of the building, in addition to the golf pro shop, how important would a function room offering food and beverage be to you? And then that would lead into the question around how important would it be to offer a variety of function rooms capable of seating 25, 50, or 75 people with food and beverage services. So that was the correction we had around the size of the function room based off of the interviews we had. And then the last question would be based on the potential use and assuming cost neutrality to taxpayers, what would you prefer? On the monkey survey, it didn't have that whole sentence in there, Jen, so we'll have to just make sure Owen has the, updated draft.
Yep.
And that's where we talked about having, rehab, existing space, new building on existing footprint, foundation, a completely new building, and then just one question around open-ended. Please provide any comments or feedback. So that would be like the beginning of the survey that we talked about, and then there'd be a section for, if you were a golfer, a couple extra questions, please.
I think that makes sense.
What do you guys
Have we
think?
missed anything? I mean, I know we went through this last time, Felicia, you weren't here. Anything that you think we missed in looking at that?
Are you asking me directly?
Yeah.
I again, coming from like the family standpoint and wanting to kind of represent the voice in the community that represents families, in my initial draft, I mentioned, do you bring your kids with you to dine? Because I think a lot of times as a parent with younger children, I'm going to look for a restaurant that is family-friendly, that has a family-friendly menu, a kid-friendly menu, or kid-friendly things to do. So I think that was one question I was hoping to see is how many families are looking to go? Is it important for the community in Westborough to have any, family-oriented dining? So that would be my only thing, is if there was a way to slip that in somehow, whether it's adding on to one of the questions.
I think we
Or-
can easily,
Is that something
number
addressed
3.
now, though, or would that be addressed through the RFP?
For the
Because
restaurant.
we're not deciding what restaurant's going in there, we're just about deciding what is the building gonna be used for.
Right, I think number 2 on the questions for everybody, if it's like, what would you want to see there, full-service restaurant, we could maybe add an option that, like, family-friendly restaurant, like specifically call something like that out, and add that as an option.
Yeah, that's maybe, I get what you're saying. I think it was Brian that said it, we're not here to determine exactly what, but I think it would be good to get a feel of, what kind of draw families and younger parents of younger kids would care, I guess.
I'm fine with that. I think that makes sense.
Would you put it with full-service restaurant / casual dining? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think, if we could slip that in somewhere, I think on the current list, number 4 would be probably the best spot to have it.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Yeah, the one that's listed number 7 on our sheet.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, you could just add another box there that just said family-friendly dining.
right.
yep.
Now, will
Oh,
they be able
okay, yeah,
to,
number 7, not number 4.
will they be able to choose multiple, or is that just,
check all that apply.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, just
Yeah,
one.
check out the apply.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
good.
so just add another box. that
So
says
family-friendly restaurant?
Okay.
Yep.
Then people will say, well, then do we need an area for a bar service, bar area for adults?
Yeah, we can't get into that. though.
I know, no, it's not part of this purpose. Okay, so we'll add the family-friendly. So then just change the order around, Jen, and...
Yep, I'll do that.
And then are we, and then are we good to go?
I think so. I will talk about that, but.
Okay. Any other,
Anything else, so? After we add that, anything more from your side?
Yeah.
Felicia?
Yeah, all
I think that's it.
Okay.
1 through. No, that starts the second section. Yeah, you were right.
You have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I just wasn't, so I think the 2 demographic questions, if you want to call it that, is the, are you a member of the golf club and Westborough resident? I think should just go with that at the very end.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
I think you said
Yes.
those are the
Oh,
very
okay,
end.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
misunderstood
I
what you were
saw
saying.
Matt twice, and he told me I was wrong.
Now, those go at the very end, so basically, 2, 3, so actually, maybe I'll do it this way, and correct me where I go wrong.
yep,
Starting with number 6
Thanks for proving it.
through
that's right,
11, we'll go first, so we'll go 6 through 11,
goes
Yep.
first.
goes first, then it will go 2 through 5,
Yep.
and then, well,
The other 1 and 2.
the other one, and
Yeah,
one and the other
exactly.
2 will go last.
Yep, I think I got it, yep.
Perfect.
Sorry, I didn't even know those numbers.
All right. Great.
Um,
Yeah, well
I
done.
didn't-
Really nice job editing that.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for the comments, too. And so let's talk about just logistics, I guess, with that. So just to confirm, I think,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I just, going back to how it starts, the introduction, just the question I had was in that first sentence, it says, recommendation to the town select board on what the best use of the building is. Do you think that we should put the whole charge? Because I feel like the actual charge from the select board shows that there's an option for potentially demoing the building and not reusing it.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well give what the charge is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, I
Do you
agree.
want to do the link to that, or
I think we just put it.
in
I think
there?
just spell it out.
Done?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's no question. I think that's good because there was a charge we got and
Right.
it was set, everyone can see it. And there's no way, oh, you didn't tell me. Even though they could look.
But they won't.
I mean, the feedback, that I keep getting is, survey's going to be great. Everyone's looking forward to it, so hopefully we'll get a good response.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on the survey itself before we start talk logistics?
Going, done.
Okay, so I know we talked last time, I think we have thoughts, but I just kind of want to finalize. So once we get the survey set up, and so the Survey Monkey, we talked about a number of lists that we have. I guess this will be on the survey itself. What do we do in terms of a email blast?
So we can send it out to everyone who's subscribed to Town News, which is also folks who subscribe to the newsletter. I assume you have a.
Oh, yeah,
email
rec
list
list.
that
Rec
you would
department's
send
the
out
golf
as well.
list.
Yep.
Mhm.
Do we want to
mentioned
talk
the schools, too.
schools,
Oh,
the
great. We'll talk-
library?
Yep.
Yep.
We were going to put hard copies at the library, the golf course, and the senior center.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In fact, the community advocates quoted us where we were putting them.
That's good then.
Yeah, that's good.
Today.
But I
So they
guess-
better be there.
Chris, I was going
They
to
better
say,
be there.
when you send that blast out, do we need to put a blurb in of what we're blasting out, like a? Because we'll just have a link to the.
I mean, do you want to just use this introductory blurb?
We should say something about a survey. Please
it does.
complete.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, use
I mean,
this
when you're sending out the
as the
email, you're not
email.
just gonna
Yeah.
send out a link, you're gonna write a,
Yeah.
I mean, it does say something about the survey. It
Yeah.
says what we're doing.
Right, it says we're asking for input from the community.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it would be
exactly.
good to have those links before somebody goes into SurveyMonkey,
Yeah.
that they can go through.
And even if we repeat it on SurveyMonkey again, that's fine if
I
someone,
think that's okay.
okay.
yeah, because I mean, like in my email system, I can just cut and paste that and it goes right in the first thing that you see. And then
Right.
it says, click here for the survey, and then you just click.
Or if we could craft that and then send it to each, so then you guys would all, everyone would be sending out exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like here's the draft email with the link and then send it out to your email list.
Yeah, I mean, if we're okay with that top part being the
Yeah.
Yeah.
email verbiage, then, yeah, we can.
With the
always-
addition of the charge,
Yeah.
full charge.
So
Are
the-
folks good with that, or?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
to be clear, in order to get it through the town, you have to be subscribed to the newsletter, not the emergency
Right,
call.
that's right.
Okay.
And-
But we'll also put it on the front page of the website so that
Okay.
people can just click into it, don't have to receive it via email.
And we'll put on the town Facebook
Facebook page,
all the
sure.
various Facebook pages and.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll have it go out. I'll do it, I'll do one email blast with just this, and then I'll have it in my weekly
Weekly.
emails
Sometimes
that go out
Sundays.
every Sunday at 4 o'clock
And I-
until we close
Until we
down the
close it.
survey.
That's great.
And it was June 30th is the close down
Right.
for the survey?
Should probably add that to the email too.
Right.
This is the
Mhm.
deadline.
Yep.
And can I assume that this, we'll be able to do a dry run test before it gets blasted out to make sure that it is?
Yeah,
Tabulating.
I can send it to whoever I need to send it to first.
No, you mean the actual survey?
The survey,
Yes.
SurveyMonkey.
Right.
It's what Jen had sent
Jen
out.
send us one, yeah.
we could all pull it out?
Yeah, I
that's a good
started to
idea.
do it.
Yeah.
So I think if you just reorder it and then refresh the link out to us, we can all populate it.
Yeah.
And
You'd
if
be
there's
the
an
first
issue.
ones to do it,
Yeah.
and see if it works.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it worked.
We'll see what we're all thinking.
What was
No
the
meeting.
third, what was the third place we said? Hard copies, library, senior center?
And the golf course.
Oh, sorry.
Rec
Sorry.
department.
And in the,
Maybe the town clerk's office too?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a good idea. And then we should have it, like, June 9th is our deadline to start this, according to the community advocates. I just wanted to clarify
So
if that's
Friday.
correct.
Can we do it by
Yeah,
Friday?
yeah, that's fine.
2 days.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take me 30 seconds to set up an email and send it out. So once we get all the things done, it's easy. Point and click.
And even if we're behind by one email list, as long as the survey is ready on the website, and we
Right.
start sending it out, June 9th is the date we want it to be available.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great. And it gives people 3 weeks.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
I think what we can do is maybe have Owen just give us, or you guys can send out an email to the committee, just saying what our response rate is, in case we need to keep populating,
Sure.
telling people to fill it out.
Yeah, are we gonna send out any kind of reminder email or something as the deadline approaches? Reminder, if you haven't had a chance to fill this out, please do so now, it's due in 3 days or whatever.
We
Yeah,
could.
Yeah,
I think we
and-
absolutely should, yeah.
Yep,
I
and
think that's a great
mine will
idea.
go out once a week anyway, as part of a weekly email I do.
Okay.
But from the town, the other ones, I think absolutely we should.
Send a
And I-
reminder the last week of June.
Yeah, I think at the last meeting too, we had talked about this. I mean, as much as if there's things we're missing, but I think if we can ask whether the schools can send it out or whether the parents groups can, but whoever, Facebook pages, we just want to get it as widespread as possible, I think is the best way we can do it, so.
Right, because I mean, anyone will be able to share that page to all their lists, and then it can grow exponentially from there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
we
care where they
always
get it, as long as they
throw
get it,
all
and once they click on the link, it goes right into our
Right.
survey link, so.
Before we put it on social media, we should just have one image.
I agree, yep, one thumbnail image that everyone,
So you guys can think.
I think we have to be more open.
No.
Oh, you never mind, just kidding. I'll say after.
We won't be able to get
We
out.
used to say that, but that's
It was an open meeting law thing that like a door had to be open. I feel like it was one of those things. that
As long as it's
just
unlocked.
stayed with me. Oh, okay.
Downstairs has to be unlocked, these doors have to be unlocked. That we thought wrong.
I'm just trying to hold open.
No,
you-
you were right. You were
Um,
smart.
All right.
Anything else then? This is exciting to get this out. This is Going once?
I think that's
I
good.
think that's great.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for that.
Good.
Okay, we talked last time now for these next two kind of committee goal setting and preliminary project plan. I think we can try to address them both kind of together, but I guess I open it up for suggestions, comments. I mean, I think we had talked last time, we know what our kind of deadline as a committee is to get something back by the beginning of October. Doesn't mean we have to wait that long. If we have it sooner, that's fine too, but
Yep.
I'm just thinking about board meetings too. The board meets the second and fourth Tuesdays, so either it would be the fourth Tuesday of September, or it would actually be the second Tuesday of October,
Why don't we aim for the fourth Tuesday of,
September. which is
So
So
still
September 26th.
yeah.
That's our meeting, correct? Christie?
Okay. Now we have to figure out what does that end deliverable look like?
Yep. What do folks think?
I was just pulling up the charge, so it says recommend whether or not the town should consider significant capital investment in the country club building, whether it be renovation or construction. So I think once we get an idea of,
From the surveys.
right,
Right.
what we're looking for, then we know if the building would suit it or not.
So what I'm thinking too is with the survey, the nice thing with that, if I remember, is, and with these questions, we're gonna get, for the ones that have the boxes, we can do a bar chart that shows kind of where things come in. So that could be part of a presentation, PowerPoint, but then we can, as a committee, we'll summarize what our overall recommendation, but I think we'd want to be backed up by,
Yeah, in terms of how we got to the recommendation.
yeah.
So the tasks we took and the decision points.
Yeah, we go
Yeah,
through our
starting-
minutes and say, hey, what did we
Right.
do for our meeting? We met with,
Right, starting with our tour, that first meeting, on to the survey.
well, yeah, we had both rec,
To
the golf course
golf
talk, we
course
had an
talk.
outside
Yep,
golf course.
right, we should
Owners,
actually list all
manager.
those things, list Jen's discussion, Matt's discussion, and then the outside golf course,
Mhm.
survey next, and then, you know,
Our discussions on
we-
the,
our discussions, and then we arrived at this decision, right?
Including the walkthrough of the facility.
Right, that's number one.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can summarize that.
Yeah, just a basic roadmap.
So do we need somebody like to start working out like a deck, like in terms of just kind of just taking a blank slate and then just populating some of that so we can start to fill it in? And then what leads to the final recommendation?
yeah. Yeah, I think if someone
Yeah.
wants to take that on.
I'd be happy to start a deck on that.
Okay.
Great.
So I think that survey probably speaks more to the second point, which is identify expected use of the building, considering the needs of the golf course, pro shop, and maintenance barn, specifically address any level of food service desired. So that's exactly what we're asking.
Right.
But then I think once we have an idea, we might want to, I think at that point, we had talked about in the beginning DPW having representation on this committee, and then ultimately decided not to, but to bring them in. So I think once we start, because they oversee our facilities or maintain them. So once we talk about expected use, we should ask them to join us probably for
It's a
a
great
discussion.
idea.
Yeah, very good. I like that a lot.
So sometime after the survey
Right,
results come in.
yeah, maybe a second
The
meeting in
following
July or
meeting,
something,
yeah.
yeah. And then it says consider other recreational uses or community needs. We'll hear that from the survey, but we did hear from departments that they didn't have other
Right.
identified uses yet.
So we did do that, we did contact all the departments.
Yeah, so we should note that in
Right,
our
we should
deck
note
too,
that,
that
yeah.
they've all been.
So then we
Yeah,
get
but I think if
the,
you need, sorry,
yeah.
if you need information for what we did, Christie can give you kind of what the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just in terms of the timeline, Ian, so June 30th, the survey closes. We should, it's 4th of July week, so let's say the second week in July, we get these statistics on in the outputs,
Yeah.
summarized.
Yeah, I think we should so we give, I think we should plan, I mean, we're kind of going into the next meeting and meeting schedule. I mean, that's, we
Yeah, I
can
think
jump
that's a good
there,
one.
I
We
think.
might as well
that-
go get that figured out.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm thinking that week following is the week of the 10th.
I mean, would it be good to meet maybe one time a week before it closes so we can take a look at what we have and see if we need to do a push? You know, one last push to get it out. You know,
Right.
let's just say for some reason only 100 people filled it out. You know, if we know a week ahead of time, we can do one more email push, one more big push to get people to fill it out before it closes.
Yeah, do we need to meet for that, though?
I
or
think
do we
that's what
just-
she was saying, was that we should do that push regardless.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right.
I think we would know. too.
Yeah, I was saying do the push regardless.
Yeah.
And
Do
we
it.
know-
Because even if we have
Automatically.
2,000 back, why not, push for 3,000 or
3,000.
whatever?
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So more info, the better.
Yeah, so maybe a normal cadence for the next.
Yeah, maybe
3
Owen
weeks,
for every week.
Once a
can
week.
just Send us out kind of, once we get this out every Friday, just send us what we have for responses.
Yeah.
That works.
But
Unless
the-
people want to meet, but I'm trying to.
No, I don't think-
I don't know that we have to.
Good.
I don't think we need to.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that if we go on our regular schedule, would be like the 12th.
You're talking about for our group's next meeting,
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
July 12th.
right.
yeah. Yeah, that would be the normal schedule. So yeah, let's do
We do it
that.
on a Wednesday.
6:30?
Yeah, Wednesday, July 12th, get together and review the results of the survey. That would be the focus of the meeting.
Yeah, it really is. That will be the focus of that one.
Yeah.
And have discussion on,
Results,
Yeah.
data.
because I mean, who knows, if we get a lot of comments too, and we've missed stuff, or we still have time to
Yeah.
figure stuff out. So some of those free-form questions, the 2 or 3 we have.
And then Ian, were you thinking we'd bring the DPW in after that?
I think so.
Yeah, so we'd get the results in first, understand it, and then bring in the DPW.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I'll throw out what people think. My initial take was definitely that once in July. The summers are always tough because of vacations, so
Yes.
I think we need at least one a month, and the question is, do we need
Mhm.
2 in July, 1 in July, 2 in August? I don't know,
So what would be so the following meeting, after we've discussed all the results, the following meeting, we're going to invite the DPW, and then from there, we're going to then compile all the information we have and,
finalize the
Finalize
deadline.
Finalize
the
recommendation.
Yeah.
And finalize our recommend, basically,
So we don't-
finalize our recommendation, and then the last piece will be,
right, so that's like 3 more
Putting it back
meetings.
together.
So we need 3 more meetings minimum, right?
We got 3. We got July results.
July results,
DPW.
DPW, then putting together all of our thoughts and.
Yeah.
But I was
So I'm-
thinking, what, are we gonna meet twice in July for DPW? Because DPW and review results are 2 separate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So are we doing a second one in July? or is
I don't know,
it-
that's why I stood up, I don't know whether we need 1 in July, 1 in August. I'm thinking we may want 2 in September. just-
Right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking 1 July, 1 August, 2 September.
Well, we have to be done by September 26th.
Right.
Right.
That'll
So-
give the DPW time to look at what we want to do and
Right.
look at the assessment and to do one in August.
That's a good point, Christie. So then what would our input to DPW be? And what are we looking from the DPW?
I think that our input would be whatever the survey results are and how we interpret them, to say, this is what we're looking for, and then the request would be, given the state of the current building and the assessment, what's sort of your recommendation in terms of how we can accommodate that, which, may or may not be a new building or.
Right.
Are we going to, but I assume we'll go in with our own perspective and then let them bump against that and let us
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what seems most realistic.
I think the discussion with DPW is more collaborative rather
Yeah.
than them sort of presenting something back, just coming in to have that discussion.
Yeah, and if we have questions that comes out of it, and we hear iffy, or, people are overwhelming, want to renovate the building, then discussion, what does that mean? What do they think?
Because they inspected the building, so they have a
They know.
lot more information.
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, there's
Maintain it.
things that they're maintaining it with things that
Right.
we saw a lot, but we didn't see
Right,
close to
right,
everything. Or we saw things that we probably didn't know what we saw.
right.
I have a question. So the survey comes back with overwhelming support to renovate the building. Are we gonna just go with that because that's what everybody wanted, or are we going to consider it and discuss it?
Consider it.
Consider and discuss it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think ultimately the way I look at this is, this group's been charged and appointed by the select board to come back with its recommendation. The survey is
Yeah.
very important, I think, because we want to hear the input, but in the end, it's not just the
It's not
survey.
the no be all.
Yeah,
Okay. Just thinking from a community perspective, there's a lot of opinions and, we wouldn't have any idea how educated people are on the issue or on the building or on the, so.
yep. No, and that's why I think that meeting in July will be important, because and actually, that's good, because if we close it June 30th, we can get the results right away, because of the way the Survey Monkey works. That gives us time during the July 4th weekend, or week but we have a chance to review it and whatever. But I do think there will be, I imagine there'll be a lot of comments in those free-form questions and a lot of things to digest and for us to discuss, and I think that's why that meeting on the 12th will really be about us really looking and discussing and, and thinking and seeing. Having done these before, I imagine there may be something that we say, wow, we missed that, and perhaps we need to schedule meetings to talk to somebody else, or,
Right.
Which
hopefully
we
not
would
on the
have all
survey,
August
but we
and
have time to
September.
do
Yeah.
stuff, so.
And it's also somewhat up to interpretation, because if
Exactly.
Matt
Right.
overwhelmingly has 3,000 respondents that are golfers.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have 500 we've got to
Yeah.
reinterpret the numbers to say, well, the
Right.
golfers are saying this, but they way outweigh the rest of the community
Yeah.
in responses, but
Yeah.
not.
Can we send out a email, because is there just one person not here? Just to see whether the 12th or the following week works for vacations for people? The 12th or the 19th of July?
Sorry, one question before we get to the change of subject, back to the survey results. One question, will we as the committee members have access to the results prior to, let's say we choose the 12th? Will we have access to the results so we can review them before we come in to discuss, or?
Yes, yep. Yeah, the plan will be that hopefully we'll have them out by like July 1st. If we close it down June 30th,
Then we'll all get the results to review so that we can come in with thoughts.
correct.
Okay,
Thoughts,
thanks.
questions, whatever, yeah. So we'll have kind of almost 2 weeks for us to review it, analyze it, come up with questions that we have, and, yeah.
Especially on the open-ended question, because
Especially,
that's.
I think there'll be a lot of stuff in open-ended questions, and, so I do think that meeting will take some time to go through, and I think we'll have some things to, as I said, a
Figure
lot
out
to
if there's
discuss,
any
but also figure out, is there other people we may want to see as a committee, other things we may want to pursue? I don't know what it will be, but I think, yeah. So I think it's important that we as committee members all get that information with enough time to review it.
Okay, good. But as for the 12th, that works for me.
Okay?
I have it on my calendar.
So do we want to set something out just to verify, say 12th or 19th, and just verify?
Yep.
I won't be here on the 19th.
I'm not here on the 12th, so.
It's vacation, so.
Right.
I'll send it out.
Figure out your thing, yeah. Yeah, we'll get a quorum.
I'll be here, I don't take vacations.
But if someone's missing, they, I know it's
Zoom
open
in.
meeting law, but if, say, Maura's out on that day, can she send her comments to you?
Yeah?
I could Zoom in, I could possibly.
We could Zoom in.
Right.
Yeah, or if she can't
I
Zoom.
could send my comments, or can I?
I don't know, I don't know. I just know what it works.
Yeah, I mean, you can send them just to the chair,
Right.
and then you can read them at the meeting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can read them into the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
The difficult part is, we can't
But just not to all of us.
debate, but yeah.
Right.
But send, yeah, if you send it to me, I will.
Okay.
he can put
You know how to- you know how
your
to-
blonde wig and he can talk more. Okay. So then, July 12th or the 19th, we do a meeting.
Let's do the 12th.
Just, okay,
We're done.
we're just doing it, love it.
All right.
And we'll see if you can, it gives you time to figure out if you can zoom in.
Okay. yeah,
Hopefully.
Okay.
So
How-
And I think if something else comes out, like if
Yeah.
something comes out of it, that gives us another, you know,
We may have to meet, so that's the
We-
thing, I think we.
it gives
plan
us
for-
another week, yeah.
Yeah, we may have to meet again in July as well. so.
And I'll
Right.
set it up as a hybrid.
Yeah, set up as
anyway,
hybrid. yeah.
So just in case things come up.
Okay.
Okay, what about August?
So then we would have a meeting, presumably with the DPW after that?
Yeah.
In August, right?
So we should invite them or put that on their calendar?
Yeah,
For
we
the
can do
August
that once we set a date.
So
Yeah.
Is it worth maybe finding out what Wednesday night in August the DPW director is
Yeah.
available?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
Well,
probably
before
him
we
and we
set the
probably
date,
want
yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
as well, so.
Okay.
And based on their availability,
We
can
can-
you
I'll
put
send
a date out there?
yeah.
And
So-
again, probably, hopefully, at the beginning of the
Sure,
month, as
yep.
opposed to,
Yeah.
to give us more time.
So either last week in July, first week in
So the
August?
second or the 9th, I'll ask for August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
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 But kind of nice at the same time.
And then we would have probably, I think Ian said, one more meeting in August?
No, I think, well,
Or will we
I'm thinking
do one?
2 in September.
Okay,
Right.
And then let's schedule those, and then if we need one in July or August, another one we can
We've got
do that.
open time.
yep.
So I'm thinking the 6th and the 20th.
For September.
Of September?
Yeah.
Okay,
School will have started, right, because the holiday is the 4th.
right.
Mhm. Yep.
So the 6th is the Wednesday following the
Yeah, I'll be out that week, but you guys go ahead. And then the 20th.
20th.
I'll
And
be
then
at the
we-
20th.
And then we would want the committee, if they can, to all be here on the 26th.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we should put that on the calendar.
And we'll schedule that for the select board for
Okay.
our,
The
right now,
26th.
we're thinking the 26th is when we'll do our readout to them.
What time's that at?
Meeting set to 6 o'clock,
Okay,
we'll figure out where we put it on the agenda.
okay,
That's the 26th,
It'll be
correct?
early.
yeah.
26, yeah. I'm sure it'll be
About
towards the beginning.
26th of September.
Oh,
Right,
Select
September.
board Recommendation presentation.
Yep,
Yeah, that's how we'll, as part of the
Okay.
select board meeting, we'll present that out. and Again, we can talk about presentation and who presents and all that as we go through it.
yeah, so it's really building up the deck itself.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so the way I look at September, we'll have heard all this stuff, we can talk in that August meeting about kind of what we want to see, whatever. Brian will start working on the pieces I think we can share, even at the July meeting.
Yeah.
Iterate, then we come into the September meeting with a review, and then the following meeting is just a finalization, make sure it's tied up, figure it all out, because then that following Tuesday we'll present to the select board.
We won't need anything in terms of like cost estimates or anything at that point. It's
Yeah.
really the decision
Yeah.
coming out of the charter. Okay,
Yeah, that's not,
right,
that's the next
Just
step after
verify.
our
yeah,
committee's done.
yeah, then we're done.
If we did cost estimates, we'd be meeting every week.
And then some, yeah. Okay,
But that's why I still love that, way we have that question. Right now, I think we assume cost neutrality, just so we don't have people thinking about, oh, how much is it gonna cost, so this doesn't, you know.
And it could work out that it's cost neutrality, too.
I hope that it does.
Me
That's
too.
Me too.
Me too.
E3.
Ultimate goal, that'd be perfect, whatever we do to make it.
Right.
And it would align with what we do with the golf course today, that it doesn't go into the taxpayers. It's-
Right.
Okay, I know I jumped around here, goal setting, project plan, I think we
Mhm.
talked about that now, along with our meeting schedules. I'll open it up for any questions, things we've missed, anything we should be talking about.
No?
Move to
I'm good.
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Felicia, you're all set, or?
yeah, I just had to run and tell my kids to get ready for bed, so.
Okay. Is there anything else you had before we look to adjourn, or?
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Very
So motion
good.
to adjourn, We had a second.
Second.
We'll do it as a roll call vote, so we'll start. Brian, you want to start again?
White, yes?
O'Day, yes.
Shani, yes.
Johnson, yes?
Williams, yes.
Griffith, yes.
Kirkland, yes.
Weitzman, yes.
Weitzman closes us out, so we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Westbrook TV.